I do know the one on the left, the real ornate one, is a Swiss lace wheel.
Lace wheel.
Lace, Lace,
Okay.
lace wheel. I can't tell you the year. I know it's the design is at least 400 years old.
Oh, okay. What makes it a lace wheel?
The weight of the string.
So it's
I have no
very
idea what they
fine
call it.
thread.
That's all hers, but it's very fine thread, making lace that you would see in the days. That actually comes apart in about 18 pieces, and it's designed to fit into a pack so it could be walked across the Alps. Because, like us with quilting bees, they have spinning bees, and each one usually is made by the same maker. So they would make and put inlays in them or silver pieces on them or whatever, so they could tell one from the other. And they would get together 6, 8, 10 women at a time in the Alps, and they would have spinning, and they would spinning bees.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever heard of that before.
It's all held together by pressure from one part to the other. There's no bolts to it. There's no clips to it. There's only one pin, and that's on the very back of it for tensioning, I think they said. Other than that, it's all held together by force, part to part.
It looks like it's got wood screws in it.
Probably pegs.
I see
Probably
threads.
This one closest to me um, is a castle style wheel. I know it's been around since the 1300s. It's a double pedaled. I think they call it a double drive, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, that's.
And that one you're actually using any kind of wool fibers, in particular sheep. Llamas really didn't have any play in it at that point as they do today.
Well, they wouldn't have heard of them in Europe yet.
Not quite, not quite. But you wouldn't have necessarily gotten just wool from Europe. It could have been of any country available, but it was just not a prevalent thing then. Camels, of course, not. You would have to be much further on the other side of the world for that. It's different than a flax wheel. Flax wheel is plant fiber, and it is entirely different in how it operates. And the flax tends to tear the wheel up, whereas with the wool fibers, you can really go a long, long while, hundreds of years, before it really starts creating damage to the wheel.
So an individual wheel could last hundreds of years.
Definitely so. Definitely so.
Which I never thought about that. You could have your great 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 grandmother's wheel without.
At least a couple grades. You could very easily. The traditional wheel is what we see in Sleeping Beauty or Little House on the Prairie, for instance. Those are traditional wheels. They operate the same principles, but it's different in how they fly. And the mother of all, that's the stuff up there. That's the U-shaped thing that spins with the hooks on it. And the pulleys and stuff up there is called the fly and mother of all. Why, I don't know. But the orientation of that on a castle wheel, which is what this is, castle wheels being straight up with traditional stretched horizontally. The wheel and the pedals operate the exact same. Mainly, it's just the orientation of the spindles from horizontal to perpendicular. Parallel and perpendicular is what I mean. That's about my extent of the knowledge of them. And that's just listening to her talk.
Well, that's more than I knew. So
she's up discussing knitting with a lady up on the corner of her, so they could be there the rest of the day.
Yeah, I know better than to try to get a word in those conversations.
That makes two of us. That's why I'm back here looking at my coffees.